Do you think if people were more aware of, their environment in that sense as well, that could help them be a little bit more socially agile, contextually adept, because people are so worried about being their authentic self in every situation that they don't always realize that, well, that should be a little bit more malleable. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah. So there's a lot there.
Yeah.
No. Some really cool rabbit holes to go into. So I would play with two areas. One is that, I'm basically an individual differences researcher. And I view the way that we approach diversity is so simplistic that we're not appreciating the variables that matter the most are often ones we don't even have the English language to describe. And I'll give you an example that fits with, because we do some sports psychology with the Wellbeing Lab as well. We work with the Australian Institute for Sports of who are the up and coming Olympians for Australia. No hate mail from people from the US. I just go whoever's going to pay me and hire me. One of the things that we discovered is there are these people that are called defensive pessimists, and they basically are anxious, they're willy-nilly, they're super neurotic, it's contagious, they make you nervous just being around them. They're the type of people that wrestling coaches tell you, never cross your legs. They stand there with their feet crossed and they're awkward and they're leaning to a side. They're constantly worried about everything that can go wrong. And they steal the cohesion and the positivity of meetings to say, yeah, but you know what? The thing is, do we really know those resources are coming? Have we thought about that if inflation goes up, and if inflation goes down, how are we going to do this differently? And everyone's just like, chill. But here's the thing. What we know about them scientifically is that these are individuals that aren't expecting negative outcomes. They are hoping for the best. They brace for the worst. And they're constantly thinking about 7 or 8 different things that can go wrong. They're worried about them. And here's where it gets really cool. If you do an intervention to make them more tranquil and calm, so meditation, yoga, visualization of positive experiences, mastery intervention, where you have them think about all the things they've accomplished in the past, spot their strengths, recognize their strengths, use them in new ways. Any of those strategies makes them produce worse outcomes in the group. And the reason is they need their anxiety. They harness their anxiety as fuel to help them with problem solving. If you can't appreciate that some of the anxious people that drive you freaking crazy, they have superpowers, and you are basically stealing them by ignoring them, icing them, and pushing them to the side, the group becomes weaker than the sum of its parts because you're not getting their problem-solving skills. They're sitting right there, and you are skipping over them to hang out with all of the people that will nod their heads and agree with you. And I think this is important, not just for honoring defensive pessimists, but what personality traits do you have an allergic reaction to that are actually exactly what the group needs, even though you might not be best friends and find the person likable. And we put likability on too high of a pedestal when we're talking about sports and groups and organizations and societies. There's this great work that shows that the best entrepreneurs are right in the middle point of a scale of between being cantankerous to being agreeable and kind. And it's worth remembering that if you remember one thing about this conversation.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you signposting that. And I love what you said about, you've got to put, first of all, just going into that category of individual, much like you have, and I want to point people to it, and we'll put it in the show notes as well. We have a quiz on our website, and you kind of described what we would call like a security drive. Somebody they're always kind of, they're like, what's going to go wrong? They're almost going to always start with a pre-mortem. They're storing acorns right now while this conversation's happening.